Hello, everybody. It is January the 27th, 2021, right here on the Wrestleview YouTube channel. This is Wrestleview Weekly. Hi. How are you today? I'm good. I'm glad you're doing good. Oh, this is going to be a decent show? Decent? Maybe? I don't know. But it's Royal Rumble times. So, of course, it's going to be decent. We're going to talk Royal Rumble times. Hi there. I am Doug Lackey, veteran columnist of Wrestleview.com and co-host of Wrestleview Live, which happens every Sunday pay-per-view while it's happening right here on the Wrestleview YouTube channel because we do a live watch-along. And so, next Sunday, 6:30 Eastern Standard, is when we're going to be going live for the Royal Rumble, the Rumble of Royalty watch-along is what's going to be happening. Yes, my first ever live watch-along for my absolute favorite pay-per-view of them all, the Royal Rumble. So that's going to be a good, happy, fun times. Point of note, on the Wrestleview Media Facebook page, if you are a member of said group, awesome. If you're not, what the heck's your problem? Join the group on the Facebook, Wrestleview Media, because this week is the final week for you to take part in the Fantasy Rumble, the annual Fantasy Rumble. All of the rules are right there on the thread. It's in the announcements. It's one of the first things you see. Join it. Take part in it. There is a prize for first place. What is the prize for first place? Well, here's what it's going to be. Here's what's going down for the Fantasy Rumble. Whoever wins the Fantasy Rumble, it will be up to you to determine my predictions for the following WWE pay-per-view Elimination Chamber. That is correct. You will be in charge of my liver for the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view that will be coming up the following month in February is what's going to be going on with that. So, that's what's up. Fantasy Rumble ain't just going to be for nothing, kids. My life is in your hands if you happen to win the Fantasy Rumble. Doug, what are you talking about? Well, I will fill you in. We're making predictions for the Royal Rumble pay-per-view today, on top of the top 5 things that you should pay attention to from the past week of wrestling, which includes that I need to make a confession. I will be making a confession during the top 5 things to pay attention to from last week's television. Bunch of news to go over. Man, my words are not constructed well right now. An unfortunate passing in the world of entertainment and professional wrestling. People leaving companies, people joining companies, more trademarks being filed by the WWE, and happy stuff. Always end it with happy news. The WWE milk carton grows every week. No one has left the milk carton. It only grows. And who'd have thunk that only a week ago, we christened a brand new golden gallon, a historical golden gallon. And now we are, I think, 4 weeks away from another christening of a golden gallon. What am I talking about? You'll find out, okay? Enough of the questions. You'll find it out. And then finally, Rumble of Royalty predictions. There are 4 matches slated for this pay-per-view. There will be 4 locks, but not all of them on the matches themselves. 4 locks for the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. 2 of them mandatory to be the men's and women's Royal Rumble match. But also I'm making 2 locks that are off the beaten path when it comes to the predictions for the show and the card of the show. So that's what we're going to do. That's what's slated on the show. But before we go into any of the show, I've got something on my teeth. There we go. Before I get into any of that with the show, we got to get the pleasantries out of the way first. If you're in the chat room now, you say wee. If you're not in the chat room, there's not a damn thing I can do about that. Who all's in the chat room right now? I see Mashun. I see Andrew. I saw Gills. Who else is in that chat room? I know there's some other people in there. I see Mediocre Lewis. I see, did I say Gills? I'm going to say Gills again. I saw Gills. Wee! Who else is in there? Come on. I saw Jamel. Jamel is in there also. Who else is in there? Come on. Let yourselves be known right now. What's your problem? Oh, come on. I know you guys will file in here soon enough and let me know that you're in there. Sources. What are the sources for today? Well, as with any professional wrestling news website, everyone has their sources that they cite to tell you what's going on with the boys in the back and giving you the drama that they would like to make outside of the drama that they're watching on TV. Randy in the chat room going, wee! And our website is no different. Here at Wrestleview, we have double and triple the sources to make sure that the news is always the best that you can find from anywhere else. But here on this show, the best news and opinions come from this pie hole, and the sources that go inside this pie hole are the best and can't find them anywhere else. Richard, yeah, hi Richard, but you know, you gotta say, you know how you're supposed to introduce yourself. Sources for today, yes, come from Heist Brewery. Out of, I believe we're out of Charlotte? Yes, from Heist Brewery out of Charlotte, North Carolina. We are having some French toasted Joe is what we're having. French toasted Joe, reading the descriptor here. French Toasted Joe is an imperial stout brewed with a hefty amount of roasted malts, conditioned atop in-house made cold brew espresso roast, maple syrup, and cinnamon chips. Don't mind if I do. The ABV on this bad boy is a healthy even 10. So, from the Stein of Redemption, we will enjoy French Toasted Joe. Crack that bad boy open. There we go. And then we pour. Ooh, that's got, I already see, that's got a very nice dark hue to it. Let's see here. Pouring that in there. You know, stout, it's not really... well, it's a nice head to it, but it's not. I've had stouts that have had better foam heads to them. So yeah, there we go. Mediocre Loose. Do you think Asuka will be in the Women's Royal Rumble? Probably. I don't know. It could be. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? Will Sasha Banks be in it? I don't know. I always count on champions showing up for the hell of it, you know. All right, French Toasted Joe out of Heist Brewery here in Charlotte. Oh, that's a very, very good coffee stout. That's what it is. I'm not tasting the cinnamon. The maple syrup is very lacking, but it's definitely a coffee stout. The espresso is very good in it, so we'll just go ahead and do that. Okay, so, top 5 things that you should pay attention to from the television. I have got to make a confession. Okay, first off, let's just go ahead and face facts here. Here we have Randy Orton wearing his best, you know, he's doing his best, is that a Destroyer mask? You know, not a lucha mask. He's trying his best to look like the Destroyer from way back when in Japanese wrestling. I'm trying to remember the guy's name who donned the mask and called himself the Destroyer, but man, does... I am going to be right there with Mikey Tedesco, the effervescent one, on this. If you haven't watched last Monday's post-Raw show from Mike and Queen Victoria, we're just going to go ahead and... It was a horrible episode of Monday Night Raw. It was really bad. But what's more is they did not have a COVID-laced Drew McIntyre to blame on this one. They did not have a cameo appearance by Triple H to blame on this one. This was bad. And we just come right out and admit it. One of the biggest reasons that the WWE product as a whole is bad is, yes, of course, we can blame the pandemic and them being in the wherever, if they could be in a baseball field or if they're at the performance center. Yes, we can go ahead and blame the aesthetics and blame the environment all we want. But the writing has been atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. And the number one reason why the writing has been so god-awful is because of the Bray Wyatt Fiend character. As a whole, throughout all of Raw and SmackDown, the writing has been atrocious because of the Fiend. Period. To have a nigh invulnerable horror movie type character throwing a fireball in the face of Randall Orton, and now he's got to wear the mask of the Destroyer. It's just bad. It's just really, really bad is what it is. I can understand people not watching the WWE product right now. I can absolutely understand it, but I hope they come back for the Royal Rumble. It's the best pay-per-view of them all. You don't need to know what's happening on television to enjoy the Royal Rumble. So, and we know Mr. Destroyer himself, Randall, is going to be at the Rumble of Royalties. So, yay, I guess. It's just bad, okay? And on top of it, tomorrow night is the go-home show for the Royal Rumble. And I don't know. I don't know. It's just bad. It's just really bad. Really, really bad. But let's get to some better programming, okay? NXT last week had Fight Pit 2, the sequel. Tomato Chomper versus Timothy Thatcher. This is the Timothy Thatcher match. This is the second Fight Pit that they've had where it's a cage encircling the ring and it's replacing the ring ropes, and there's a scaffolding up on the top of the cage where they can climb up it and do all kinds of shenanigans and stuff like that. And so this is their better and much better interpretation of the UFC Octagon. It's way better than the Lion's Den that they had way back in the 90s. Let me see. I have a problem with gimmick matches that are purely based off of one character. Okay? We can go to plenty of, like, the Punjabi prison match was the Great Khali's match. The Inferno match was Kane's match. I'm not a fan of gimmick matches that are solely based off of one character. And that's what this Fight Pit seems to be. It seems to be Timothy Thatcher's match. But so what's weird about it is, can you imagine another Fight Pit match like this not involving Timothy Thatcher? Maybe. It's going to be a while until that happens. And what's more is I think this is the second Fight Pit match that's happened in the past, I want to say 5 months, because we know the first match was Timothy Thatcher and Matt Riddle, and after that match, Riddle made his debut on Friday Night SmackDown. And then we had the draft, and then he went to Raw. So we're looking at maybe 4 months. 4 months, I think? 4 or 5 months. Yeah, 4 or 5 months since, this inception. 2 Fight Pit matches in 5 months. That's too many, I think. But they seem to be warranted. But I just can't imagine another Fight Pit match that doesn't involve Timothy Thatcher. I mean, can it happen? Can Karrion Kross be in one versus Fonz Balor? Well, not this soon. When's the next time they could bring this out? I don't know. I don't know if they could bring this out. I can see them actually bringing this out after SummerSlam. Give it another 7 months, and we'll have another fight pit match. But what's weirder also about these matches, they're done on television. They don't do them on pay-per-view. In fact, they debuted the thing on a pay-per-view, which is really weird when you think about it. They didn't debut the Inferno match on television. They didn't debut the Lion's Den on television. They didn't debut the Punjabi Prison on television. That's what's really odd about this. Are they fun matches? I guess. I prefer Timothy Thatcher style matches in a regular match, I guess is the best way that I can put it. I don't see Timothy Thatcher as a UFC type person. I just don't, you know? And I know that's his character. I know he's a catch as catch can thing. And that's something that only fans in NXT would appreciate. And I appreciate a little bit. But I just can't see it happening within the next 7 to 8 months. And what's more is, are we only going to be seeing it on television? Are we just never going to see it on a pay-per-view? It's made to be a cinematic match by all means. And in fact, the match here itself, it's meant to be cinematic, I think. It's just a really weird thing, especially with it only being on television. Third thing to pay attention to, let's stay on the NXT train. Casey Catanzaro going all flippy dippy on us. Going all little critter, almost snapping her Achilles in two and missing wildly on, what is this thing called that she did? Is that a Phoenix moonsault? Is that what that's supposed to be? I know a Phoenix splash is when you're facing forward, but what is it when you're going backward? Oh boy. Yeah, the landing was scary. That landing was scary. And this was definitely the talk all over the interwebs Thursday morning, following Wednesday's NXT Live NXT on Wednesday. Look, I am a big fan of the tag team of Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter. I think they're a great act. They got a great look. Both of them do things in the ring that no one else does, case in point. No other female does, case in point. But it can be mega, mega scary, as seen here. Is Casey Catanzaro safer than Shotzi Blackheart? Probably. You know. And also, Catanzaro has been injury prone for the past year and a half, 2 years. She took a lengthy time away from the roster to just nurse wounds and rehabilitate and stuff. This is, I don't know. Thank goodness that Tony Every Day is Leg Day Storm was face down on the mat, because if she was face up, it would not have been good. She would have seen what had been happening and may have tried to ad-lib or try to adjust herself a little bit. And in fact, she's looking up right there to see her going from the top rope. I cannot imagine if she had moved a little bit either direction, who knows how this would have turned out. But man, this was rough. This was really, really rough to watch. Thankfully, she's okay. Thankfully, that team of Carter and Catanzaro will be moving on in their little Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. You know? Not really. I know there are I can't think of right now the other teams that are in the women, on the women's side. You know, I know there's Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. They moved on in their match. I can't name any others, to tell you the truth. I just can't. It's frightening. It's really, really frightening. It's really, really frightening. Fourth thing to pay attention to, stay on the NXT train, but it was not on television. In fact, there's been something about the matches that have been happening in the WWE where the best matches of the year seem to be women's matches. I highly, highly, highly recommend you watch the NXT UK Women's Championship match from last Thursday. Kaylee Ray defending her title against Ginny. Just a great match. But the reason I'm showing this is because the television screens are going all wacky for some reason. What happened? What's going on here? Who's being shown on the TV? What's going on here? First off, gotta be said, the past few weeks of NXT UK have been fantastic. Walter defending his NXT UK title against the Heritage Cup winner A-Kid. This match right here for the women's title. Right now, Kaylee Ray is the longest reigning champion in all of the WWE with that UK women's title. And also just the studio setup that NXT UK has, I really, really like. It's completely different from any other setup that's with WWE television right now. Even Jordan Devlin is back, and he has the Cruiserweight title, but Santos Escobar has the NXT Cruiserweight title. That's going to be even more fascinating, okay? Jamel asking, even longer than Walter? I know, I can't remember who has the title longer. It's either Kaylee Ray or Walter. I believe Kaylee Ray is the longest reigning champion right now in the WWE. But television screens going wacky in this match. People are rumoring that it's Taya Valkyrie, who recently finished her contract with Impact Wrestling. Others could be thinking that it's the woman with the worst work ethic in all of professional wrestling, Tessa Blanchard. Who knows? Who knows who it could be? But I highly, highly, highly recommend you check out NXT UK. In fact, just NXT in general. Their matches, their programs, their storylines are way better constructed. Way better constructed. Built for the long haul. Nothing too far contrived per se, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. You know, there's nothing outlandish going on in either of those two shows. However, if you're like me and can only stomach so much respect and the honors of professional wrestling, then NXT may not be your cup of tea. You know, I can only take so much of the honors and the respects of professional wrestling. And that's all over NXT. All over both channels of NXT. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. Okay? And it makes it even more difficult when you can't tell who faces and heels are. And that's the same thing. That's what happens in NXT. So, I don't know. I don't know who's messing with the screens there. Not sure. But I am not a fan of Tessa Blanchard. That's for damn sure. All right. Finally, I have a confession to make. I have been dogging the Federation for a while. Okay? I've been putting them down and putting them down. Because they're full of botches. I can't stand the owner's entrance for the life of me. I cannot stand it. God, that's the only thing in professional wrestling that makes me angry. But I decided to check out last week's episode of AEW. Okay, because now we're removed from the unfortunate passing of Brody Lee, John Huber. Time has passed. And now, what are we doing now? I mean, has Brody Lee turned into AEW's Eddie Guerrero? is AEW worth watching? And so I thought to myself, I'll go ahead and watch it. You know, brand new. I have no idea what the programs are. I have no idea what's going on. I tuned in, and by God, I don't think I'm going to be able to play it. But by God, this program with Hangman Page trying to be recruited by the Dark Order, starting off the show. Okay, first the show starts off with a birthday celebration for -1, Brody Lee's son, Brody Lee Jr. It starts off with that. Some no-name tag team comes out and starts poking fun at everything, so now we got ourselves a 6-man tag of some kind that spawns from that. Hangman Page comes out and bowls over everybody who's trying to interfere and everything. After the match, and of course one of the people from the bad guy tag team gets their head shoved into the birthday cake. And then after the match, Brody Lee Jr. takes a kendo stick, hits one of his own men with the stick, says, "You messed up my cake." And then he grabs a microphone and yells at the guys of the Dark Order, "It was my birthday 3 days ago." Grabs papers and slings it at the guys of the Dark Order. And then after that, we get, I think his last name is Silver. I don't know much about everyone who's in the Dark Order here. But here he is, Silver. He grabs a microphone and he starts going, "Oh, Paige, you're so good. You're such a great professional wrestler. Your hair is so beautiful. I wish I had hair like you." He's doing his best Chris Farley from Saturday Night Live. And here he goes. He gets down on one knee like he's proposing to him, asking him if he is willing to join the Dark Order. Before Page can answer and say his answer, suddenly the poppers go off. Confetti everywhere. He said yes. Random people running out of the two tubes wearing Dark Order masks are dancing out and celebrating. There are other members of the Dark Order at the foot of the ramp going, "No, no, no, he's not done yet." And they're trying to kick him back into the tubes. I was reacting just like I am right now. I was gone. You got me. I'm laughing my ass off here. Unfortunately, Hangman Page, yeah, there they go, kicking him out. Unfortunately, Hangman Page turns down the proposal, says past times that he's been in a group hasn't worked for me. And so, yeah, he says, "Unfortunately, I just can't join." Everyone's sad. He walks away. And before he can walk away, he grabs the fifth of Jack Daniels that's been brought out for his celebration. And then walks off. I guess this is the only way that I can really play videos without getting stopped by the YouTube Gestapo. I was hooked. I'm in. I am in. Later on in the episode of AEW, we've got Miro, former Rusev of the WWE. He is now in a video game playing stable of sorts with Kip Sabian and Penelope, where they like video games or something. But he beat Chuck Taylor in a match. Chuck Taylor of the group Best Friends. I believe Trent of Best Friends is injured. And so there's really no Best Friends. Orange Cassidy is sitting in the crowd. Out comes Miro and his group. And Chuck Taylor is dressed in a tuxedo like he's a butler. Apparently, Miro kidnapped him and turned him into his own best friend. Orange Cassidy stands up after Chuck Taylor goes and says under his breath, "Miro's my new best friend." And Orange Cassidy walks off sad. Sting is in AEW teaming with Darby Allin, the TNT champion, squaring off against Team Taz. I guess that's a big thing. There's inner strife happening with the inner circle and stuff. I mean, that's not the stuff that I pay attention to. This is the fun stuff, okay? I've fallen in love with the Dark Order. And here I was nearly a year ago lambasting them about the punching into the mat botch that happened on their episode of AEW. I've turned the corner. I love Dark Order. Their videos they put on YouTube are hilarious. They're just a great fit. They're just a great palate cleanse when it comes to professional wrestling as a whole. But unfortunately, AEW still has things they need to work on. For one, we didn't get a women's match on that episode of AEW until we were an hour and a quarter into the match. Can anyone name for me who the women's champion is in AEW? Is it some Shido or something like that? Some Japanese chick? Something like that? I don't know. The women's wrestling is nowhere to be found in AEW. It's almost, I want to say it's almost as bad as like Ring of Honor. It's almost as bad as WWE in the early 2000s. It's bad. They're just not given any time at all because it's drowned out by other shenanigans. Not saying they're don't take away from the Dark Order. But do we need Cody? Like, seriously, I've had enough of Cody. But we got this. Kenny Omega and Young Bucks and Gallows and Anderson from Impact are doing stuff, and Private Party's doing stuff with Matt Hardy, and there's lots of things happening in AEW, but still they've got to figure out, are they really going to have a women's division in AEW? Are they going to give them a shot at all? I don't know. And it takes them an hour and a quarter to bring them on. SmackDown, which is also 2 hours long, had 2 women's segments in it. The first match that happens on SmackDown is usually a women's match. We had Asuka and Charlotte Flair teaming up against Liv Morgan and Wooby Wyatt with Billie Kay off at the ringside. That kicked off the show. That was the first match. Why? And then after that, we had a obstacle course segment involving Bayley and Bianca Belair. How is it that the WWE, with all of their atrocious writing, can still fit 2 women's segments or matches into their 2-hour show, and AEW can't? Why is that? It's because I think AEW's matches take way too long for guys to do flippy-dippy stuff. That's the only downfall, the 2 downfalls with AEW, the women's division and fucking Cody. Yeah, really, I can't stand Cody. God, his entrance takes too long. I mean, how long are we going to be saying he's an underdog from the Big Boy Federation and he never got what he wanted? And But I give AEW a chance when it comes to the Dark Order. Dark Order makes me happy. Dark Order gives me happy feelings, along with Orange Cassidy. But Orange Cassidy has almost jumped the shark right now. Right now, it's the Dark Order that's gotten my attention. So, there we go. Those are your things to pay attention to from the television, from the idiot box of the professional wrestling. Headlines to go over, people leaving federations, people joining federations, trademark stuff, and sadly an unfortunate passing in the world of entertainment. The WWE issued a lengthy statement regarding the unfortunate passing of Larry King yesterday. passing at the age of 87. Very long statement, but I guess I can fly through it. The WWE is saddened to learn that Larry King passed away at the age of 87. The talk show titan reimagined possibilities in the world of television with his iconic The Larry King Show. Prominent figures from the entertainment, sports, and political worlds graced his show nightly, but King made a special impact on the national coverage of wrestling. They are incredible athletes, he's quoted. Their fan following is amazing, but their results are never in the paper. To me, if someone is interesting, then I am curious, and wrestlers and wrestling are interesting, Larry King once told Sports Illustrated. When The Larry King Show debuted on ORA TV in 2012, Larry King featured a special WWE Superstars episode that included John Cena, The Miz, and Maurice, Big Show, and more. After being named social media ambassador for Raw, King would bring his legendary show to the Red brand in 2012. It was an eventful night for two-time Peabody Award winner, as the A-lister memorably couldn't help but crash his set, and King also provided some life advice to Daniel Bryan. So, yeah. Larry King passing of COVID-19 complications. Again, I end my show with it every night. Wear a mask, don't be an asshole, and think about your others before yourself. And here's another reason why. Yeah. So, unfortunate passing of Larry King. Big news coming out of the world of the television business, the sports television business. NXT on USA could be affected by NBC Sports shutting down at the end of this year. According to a report by SportsBusinessDaily.com, NBC has told its distributors and some sports leagues that it plans to shut down the NBC Sports network at the end of 2021. The report notes that NBC's most recent affiliate deals with Charter and Dish Network do not include carriage of NBCSN beyond this year. NBC has carried the NHL for the past 15 years. NHL, NASCAR, soccer, and other sports programming will move to the USA Network. The NHL's TV contract with NBC Universal expires at the end of this season. However, NBC Universal keeps the NHL, but it will most likely move to the USA Network. If NBC Universal keeps the broadcast rights to the NHL, it's being said that there's a good chance that NXT would have to be moved from Wednesday nights, as the NHL has higher ad rates than NXT. This move by NBC is currently in line with the trend of consolidating cable channels. However, for NBC, this is said to be part of a bigger strategy to grow its Peacock streaming service, while at the same time strengthening programming for the USA Network. Also, according to the same report, sources have said that NBC's other sports channels like the Golf Channel and Olympic Channel will not be affected. NBC announced recently that its Peacock streaming service will carry speed skating on a premium tier. NBCSN was previously known as the Outdoor Life Channel, and when it launched in 95. In 06, it was then changed to Versus. After Comcast purchased NBC Universal in 2011, they changed the name to the NBC Sports Network, and it is currently being held in 80.6 million homes. Here's the bigger thing when it comes to NBC Sports shutting down. The reason NBC Sports is shutting down is not because of network and media consolidation. Rumors are going around that, and it's probably going to be true, that the 2020 Olympics that were to be held in Tokyo, Japan, they were postponed to this year. It's looking like the Olympics are going to be canceled. The Summer Olympics out of Japan may be canceled for this year. And NBC's, all of their money comes from the Olympics. All of it. Okay? That is their moneymaker throughout the NBC Universal as a whole. That's where their money is. The Olympics are canceled. Oh boy. That's bad. Okay? Thus, the folding of NBCSN. They can't afford it. They just can't afford it. And so, yes, you consolidate. Of course you're going to consolidate. Use USA Network. Use CNBC. They've done it before. They'll do it again. The fright of other programming overtaking NXT is warranted. Is absolutely warranted. So, what is WWE to do if NXT gets bumped from the Wednesday schedule? Just pick another day. But if that's the case, where are we going to move NXT? And if hockey brings higher ratings than NXT, does it bring higher ratings than Raw? Right now? Right now, live sports viewership is tanking. Big time. All across all sports. So while the ad revenue may be there and you can make your advertising dollars, the viewership is not. Be fascinating to see how this plays out later on in the year. What are my predictions for this? Well, before I do that, Kit says we in the chat room. My prediction, nothing changes. Nothing changes. NXT continues to be on USA. NHL will be scattered everywhere else. They got CNBC. I would much rather have my NHL programming on CNBC. I think they have Lifetime also. I'm trying to remember the other channels that are, when the Olympics were going on, what all was underneath the NBC umbrella? Yes, you got Sci-Fi. Sure, you got Sci-Fi, but I just don't. If anything, I see the Sci-Fi channel canceling. I see the Sci-Fi channel folding as well because the Olympics play an integral part in NBC's budget. It's not looking good. This is not looking good. So keep your eyes open on everything involving the Olympics. Okay, yes, NBC Sports was rumored to be shutting down a long time ago. But keep your eyes on the Olympics. I got a feeling they're going to be canceled. Jama in the chat room going, wee! It's going to be, I don't know. And it's interesting to see NBC Universal going the route that the WWE is going with their Peacock streaming service. It's interesting. It's almost as if someone talked about a while back on a show that happened on Christmas about the shift, the paradigm shift of television viewing from regular cable and satellite to being just full-fledged on the internet. You know, I swear someone talked about that sometime around the Christmas times last year. Someone did. From what I remember, it was someone that looked like me. But I think was probably a lot more inebriated and angrier. I mean, I'm not that angry. But yeah, if only someone like that had a show where they could be correct about that stuff all the time. Yeah. I don't know. But time will tell. Time will tell if that prophecy comes true. AEW's Matt Hardy revealed on the Twitter that he was recently in a car accident. Just out of nowhere, just thought I'd let you know that I was in a car accident. He's not noted to, and here he is on the Twitter. Today's advice, don't rubberneck at Rex or you'll create another one. Yeah. Poor guy, that was a nice Cadillac. Oh boy. Oh, where's his brother Bender? I don't know. I don't know if he was driving that thing or not. Jesus Christ. Sting is returning to action in AEW for AEW Revolution next month in a what looks to be a Teddy Long special.
Now, if all four of you want to mix it up, then we gonna do it right. I'm going to make this a tag team match.
Brian Cage and Ricky Starks of Team Taz squaring off against TNT champ Darby Allin and the Stinger. If you like watching 60-year-olds do absolutely nothing, then this is the match for you. Are you ready for a Sting hot tag? Oh, boy. You realize that everyone here, like, look at this. Sting is 60 years old. Everyone else here has got to be half his age. Oh, boy. Well, if this is what you want, AEW, if this is what you wanted, well, here you got it. Airing Tuesday on the WWE Network at 9:30 in the morning is the Superstar Spectacle. It is going to be a special for Sony India Networks, is what this is. As Sony Pictures Network India announces the WWE Superstar Spectacle. Yep, this will be airing at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time on the WWE Network. You can see the people that are there on the picture. Charlotte Flair, Cesaro. Looks like, who else we got there? We got Karen. I see the New Day. Drew McIntyre. AJ Styles, Ric Flair, I see Richard O'Shea, Rey Mysterio, Shinsuke Nakamura is over there somewhere, I think Dolph Ziggler, and a bunch of Indian people. Jinder Mahal, the Bollywood Boys, Indus Sher, who has been on the milk carton since last June, is going to be on this show. Yeah, so 9:30 tomorrow morning, you want to go and check it out. However, if you're going to be working, like some of us, and you're not able to watch it at work, or you're afraid to watch it at work because you'll get made fun of, then I'll solve that for you right now. Spoilers for the Superstar Spectacle were released yesterday. If you don't care, keep watching. If you do care, turn away from this piece, turn away from my show for like the next 5 or 10 minutes. But you know what? I know you don't care. You're not going to watch it live at 9:30. This is basically a Superstar Showdown or a Crown Jewel or a Greatest Royal Rumble being held out of South Dakota. So you don't, no, just don't. Here we go. Spoilers for the Superstar Spectacle. Jinder Mahal opened the show wishing everyone a happy Republic Day in India. Dance performance by the New Day and Street Profits. We got a video package about the importance of Indian talents and fans. WWE NXT champ Fons Balor defeated Guru Raj with the 16-19. Dilsher Sankey and Rey Mysterio and Giant Zanjeer and Richard O'Shea defeated Dolph Ziggler, King Corbin, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Cesaro. After the match, Rey and Richard O'Shea were paraded around on the shoulders of Zanjeer and Shanky. AJ Styles pinned Jeet Rama with the phenomenal forearm. Serena Sandhu and Charlotte Flair defeated Karen and Natalya. Ric Flair did a promo to set up the main event or whatnot. And finally, WWE champ Drew McIntyre teamed up with Indus Sher and defeated Jinder Mahal and the Bollywood Boys. Who would have thunk it that only half of the Indian talent in this show would win? A lot of stuff seems to have happened on this show, but I would recommend you check it out. Okay, I'm going to probably have it on mute because if there's one act that I want you to pay attention to from this show, it is the female, Serena Sandhu. I think she competed she was in the Women's Royal Rumble, I think she appeared at the Women's Royal Rumble, either the first or second one. I can't remember, but she made an appearance. I'm not sure if she was in the Mae Young Classic. I think she might have been. But she is an act, okay? She has a look to her that no one else has. Check her out, okay? She's a tall one, too. I think she may be the tallest female that they have had on their roster, I think she stands like, well, not the tallest. Not as tall as Ivelisse back during when NXT was not NXT, when NXT was a tryout show of sorts. Because I think Ivelisse on NXT back in the day, she stood like 6'7". She was like 6'6" or 6'7". I believe Serena Sandhu is like 6'5", 6'4" or 6'5", something like that. But she has a look. Okay, so something to check out Tuesday morning, if you'd like. Nicole Bass was not. No, Nicole Bass was 6 foot. Nicole Bass was like 6'2", 6'1", 6'2", something like that. Special edition of WWE Backstage is going to be airing on FS1 during Royal Rumble weekend. Renee Paquette or Renee Young was on the Twitters touting the return of WWE Backstage coming up during Royal Rumble weekend, I believe, airing Saturday. Yep, Saturday at 8 o'clock, again at midnight, and then again at 5 o'clock on Sunday evening. But it's going to be her, Paige, and Booker T doing the WWE Backstage show. Nothing about Phil Brooks, though. I need my Phil Brooks. No. Former Knockouts champion Taya Valkyrie finished up with Impact Wrestling last week. During Tuesday night's episode of Impact Wrestling, former Knockouts champ Valkyrie finished up with the company. There was a backstage segment in which Taya was revealed as John E. Bravo's shooter during the wedding angle with Rosemary. As Taya was taken into custody, AC Romero said to Tommy Dreamer he wonders, she's no longer with the company. According to PW Insider, Taya's contract expired last month. However, she stayed to finish up at Hard to Kill pay-per-view and then closed out her storyline on television. She is 37 years old, debuted on Impact in 2017, and she married now WWE superstar John Morrison in 2018. So, yeah, I'd anticipate Taya Valkyrie to show up on the WWE. I expect her to show up on the WWE. No problem. No problem. Wouldn't it be great if this was a reason for Maurice to come back to television? Can you imagine? You know, Maurice showing up on an episode of Ms. TV and John Morrison goes, well, sure, you know, I've got a wife too. Here, I'll introduce her to her right now. So I think that would, why not? Why not? But again, that won't happen because WWE writing. Also, not leaving, but signing, the WWE reportedly signed independent wrestling star Anthony Henry. According to PW Insider, WWE has signed former Evolve Tag Team champ and Full Impact Pro champ Anthony Henry. 36 years old, he's been one of the central performers from the North Carolina independent wrestling scene in recent years. Besides Evolve and Full Impact, he has appeared for Premier Wrestling Experience. It's so extreme it doesn't even start with an E, and Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment. Henry finished up with Premier Wrestling Experience over the weekend and posted his farewell statement on the Twitter. I'm not going to read that. So, yeah, we got another flippy-dippy kind of dude going over to NXT is what it's looking like. Goose in the chat room going, wee! NXT announced on Wednesday there are 3 new signings to their roster. Them being Zoe Stark, known as Lacey Ryan, Gigi Dolan, known as Priscilla Kelly, and Cora Jade, known as Elena Black. Here they all are in their waifu goodness. Take your pick on which one you would like to fawn over. WWE Raw interviewer Charles Caruso is going to be co-hosting a new ESPN podcast. According when she went to Instagram to announce that she was going to be the new host of the ESPN podcast First Take, her take. It's about goddamn time that we've got a first take with women's perspectives. I'm going to be brutally honest on that one. I can't stand the show First Take on ESPN. One of the big reasons is just how in the background the female moderator is. Can't stand that show. Caruso will be alongside co-hosts Shinny Ogumike and Kimberly Martin. The first episode will debut on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. It should be available for download now. Yes, it was available for download on Wednesday. More trademarks from the WWE. 6 new in-ring names that they have trademarked, and that would be Cora Jade, Gigi Dolan, Zoe Stark, Duke Hudson, Serena Sindhu, and Rohan Raja. There you see it. Serena Sindhu. She's going to make her debut on NXT. You watch. Either that or Raw or SmackDown. She's going to make her in-ring debut full-time with the WWE very, very soon. Probably after Royal Rumble. And finally, on the good news front, 2 items of John Cena is going to be releasing a new book this coming April. It's going to be called Be a Work in Progress and Other Things I'd Like to Tell My Younger Self. Yes, being published by Ballantine Penguin Random House Books. It's going to be chock full of inspirational quotes. It is amazing how much character John Cena had on television and as a WWE performer, and what little character he seems to have outside of it. Full of inspirational quotes. Full of, how do I put this? He sounds like one of my friends that is taking up their New Year's resolution of losing weight. And so every goddamn time they go to Planet Fitness, they got to go ahead and post some kind of inspirational quote, something that gets them going as they get on the elliptical. You know, ugh. Yeah. Ugh. And this is going to be on the bookshelf of every single Methodist and Presbyterian church when it comes out in April. Yeah. Finally, on the good news front, Samoa Joe cut his hair and donated it to children with hair loss. Earlier this week, Samoa Joe posted on the Instagram that he cut his hair and donated it to the CWHL. He wrote the following: "It was a good run, but hopefully it will find a better purpose." According to Children with Hair Loss website, they are a nonprofit organization that provides human hair replacements at no cost to children and young adults facing medically related hair loss. When a child's hair is lost due to cancer treatments, alopecia, the painful effects are far deeper than just cosmetic. And each year, the number of children requesting our hair replacements increases, and with your support, we can continue to increase the number of children we are able to help in the future. So Samoa Joe helping the kids. The only way that he can. Can you imagine the kid that gets that head of hair of Samoa Joe's and can you imagine Samoa Joe's DNA inhabiting the body of a 9-year-old? I'll be damned if that kid is going to let any kind of riffraff happen at his birthday party. That kid ain't going to get bullied. You don't fuck with the kid that's got a head of Samoa Joe's hair. You just don't. You're asking for it. Because first, if you start trying to verbally abuse him, he's going to have a very good vocabulary to combat it. And number 2, you're going to try to throw right on a kid that has a head of Samoa Joe's hair? Hell no. No way in hell. I wish I had Samoa Joe's hair when I was in school. But no, I have a full head of hair right now. Exactly, Jamel. You imagine an 8-year-old busting out a muscle buster on top off of the jungle gym on a kid? Woo-hoo-hoo. Putting a chokehold sleeper holds on everybody? Doing some Kobashi chops on the chick that turned him down for the prom? Oh, boy. Doug, you're horrible. No, I'm not horrible. I'm optimistic. All right, let's go on over to the injury list here. Becky Lynch is no longer pregnant. She's got that tiny human out of her tom-tom, and she should be due back for WrestleMania times. Jinder Mahal is appearing on the Superstar Spectacle, so he should be off the injury list here with his reparative right knee surgery, which previously had a torn meniscus. Edge, torn tricep. He should be back for WrestleMania times. Ivar, clavicle injury and potential neck stinger if his career isn't over. He should be back for SummerSlam. Braun Strowman, cleanup surgery on his left knee. He has been posting tons of pictures on Instagram, rehabbing and working out. The boy looks ripped. He should be back for Elimination Chamber. Watch out, he could be in time for Royal Rumble. Kofi Kingston, a potential broken jaw. He won't be around until WrestleMania times. Chelsea Green, broken wrist. Same injury that she had in 2019. Same spot that caused the injury when she fell off the apron and used her wrist to break her fall. We won't see her until Elimination Chamber. Naomi and a myomectomy. That is the excision of fibers within the uterine wall. She should be back in time for the Royal Rumble. Tegan Knox, third torn ACL in her career. If it is not over, she will be back in time for SummerSlam. Ridge Holland ruptured his patella on live television. You won't see him until SummerSlam. And finally, Bobo Fish. Though he has been appearing on television, he hasn't been doing a damn thing. He's just letting you know that he's there. He has a torn tricep, and he's not going to be available until the SummerSlams. So those are the people that are confirmed to be hurt. What about the people who aren't hurt? What about the people who are perfectly healthy? What about the people who haven't been on television or pay-per-view for, say, 3 weeks? They end up on a very special list. A list of my own design. A list that grows larger and larger by the week. Who last week we christened a historical golden gallon. And we are 4 weeks away from christening another one. It never ends. The celebration will always continue. Brace for impact. Turn your head if you're squeamish. It's the WWE milk carton. Oh, Rumble Times of Royalty. Stout ain't got no head on it. Oh my God, I can't think of anything to say. Gets worse and worse every week. You know, it just gets worse and worse. I can never, I plan for this show. I do a lot of work on this show, but the one thing I never plan is Milky's song, you know, because I think that's supposed to be fun, you know, and I suck at improv. I really do suck at improv. Let's start things off with Kalisto. We have not seen him since the New Year's Day episode of SmackDown, where he was just backstage, just hanging out, not doing a damn thing. Yeah, I think Adam Pearce was walking backstage, or no, it was Sonya Deville was walking backstage, and he was just chilling out against the wall, not doing anything. Hasn't been doing anything. Cutler and Blake, the King's Court, Knights of the Lone Wolf. This was an interesting idea, wasn't it? This was a fascinating concept. You know, to bring them back around about the same time you brought back Jackson Riker, you put Riker on Raw, you got him alongside Elias. He's been on television every week, but these guys haven't been on television for 3 weeks, and you've got Baron Corbin currently in a program with the Mysterios. What's going on? I don't know. Why haven't they been on TV? Maybe it's COVID related. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just throwing it out there. Yeah. Andrew's going, boy, that lasted long. Yeah, sure did. Akira Tozawa, haven't seen him since the December 28th episode of Monday Night Raw, where he was involved in a segment involving the 24/7 title. Hey, who's the 24/7 champion? Take a guess. It's not R-Truth. Well, it might be R-Truth. I don't know. I have no idea. But one thing I do know is that we haven't had a 24/7 title segment on Monday Night Raw since December the 28th, which means everyone who's been chasing after the 24/7 title is going to be showing up on the milk carton unless they don't bring that title back on television. So, yeah. Akira Tozawa. Eric of the Viking Raiders. Ivar's on the shelf. Eric is not. He would chase after the 24/7 title. What's going on with the 24/7 title? Like, seriously. I loved it when it first came out, and I loved it when they would run around the ring during random matches. But what's going on here? We got to bring it back. R-Truth is still the champion. He took it from Angel Garza. But again, no 24/7 title on television means none of the people involved with it are on television either. Velveteen Dream. Haven't seen him since the December 23rd episode of NXT where he was, and I don't use wrestling terms that much just because it makes me sound pompous and it makes me sound like a goddamn Cheeto muncher, but I believe legitimately buried by Adam Cole on that episode of NXT, December 23rd. He will be off the milk carton very, very soon. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Haven't seen him since the Survivor Series on December the 20th when he faced off against Randy Orton. Why haven't we seen him? It's because he was burned to death. He is the reason why WWE television and programming has been just so abysmal for the past 6 months, seriously. He'll show up at the Royal Rumble. Lana, haven't seen her since the December 14th episode of Monday Night Raw, where she was injured by Nia Jax in her match with Nia Jax. She was supposed to team up with Asuka to face off against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler for the women's tag team titles, but then Charlotte Flair came in and took Lana's place, and they won the women's tag team titles. Lana's going to show up at the Royal Rumble. Murphy. Haven't seen him since the December 4th episode of SmackDown where he faced off against King Corbin. He has not been on television for about a month now, 6 weeks is what it is. What is he doing? I don't know. He might be porking Rey Mysterio's 19-year-old daughter. I don't know. Humberto Carrillo. Haven't seen him since the November 22nd episode. The Survivor Series. I'm sorry, Bray Wyatt was at Tables, Ladders, and Chairs. That was December the 20th. November the 22nd was Survivor Series. And Humberto Carrillo was there taking part in a battle royale during the pre-show. Jimmy Uso was there too. Excuse me. He took part in a backstage segment standing outside of Roman Reigns' locker room talking to Jey Uso about stuff. And Seth Rollins was there too. He was part of the men's Survivor Series match, and he was the first one to get eliminated. Remember all of the reports that came out about a month ago saying that Seth Rollins was going to be showing up on SmackDown? Hasn't done it yet. Yeah, you know what that tells you? Those other wrestling news website sources suck. Their sources are like fucking Bud Light seltzer. Arturo Ruas. Haven't seen him since the November 18th episode of NXT where he faced off against Kushida. And Kushida won. Now, I did some research on this, and apparently during this match, he had a biceps injury of some kind, potentially a torn bicep. Thing is, I'm having a hard time trying to confirm this torn bicep injury. It was listed in WWE's little injury report that they always shoot out after every episode of NXT. The problem is, those injury reports that the WWE shoots out, work. I'm having a hard time trying to find confirmation about his injury. I believe it's legitimate, but we're talking about a torn bicep. And usually torn arm muscles, biceps or triceps, you're looking at practically 9 months to 10 months on the shelf. If that is the case, we will not be seeing him until SummerSlam. And oh yeah, that's right. Mashoon, thank you for reminding me. I'll go ahead and mention it. So I got a feeling they're going to write out his contract and just let it play out. And yes, Mashoon reminding me, Cameron Grimes is out with injury. Is it knee? I think it was knee related or ankle related. I'm not sure. I know it was leg related. But he is on the shelf. And I think he is out for only a couple of months. I think it's reparative knees. It is a cleanup surgery. It's cleanup surgery on a knee is what it is. So, yeah. There you go. Goose telling me he's got a bandage on his shoulder, confirming it. Okay. Yeah, I've got some updating to do. I'm not on the Twitter all day long. I've been too busy buying a house, getting married, stuff. I don't know. Oh God, I don't know what other excuse I could come up with. I don't know. I was streaming. I don't know. Titus O'Neil. Haven't seen him since the November 9th episode of Monday Night Raw, where he took umbrage to the Hurt Business not allowing him to join their group. And so he faced off against Bobo Lashley and lost handsomely. Who cares what's happening with him? He is too busy saving the city of Tampa. He has fed them. He has clothed them. He has educated them. He has hired them. He has put roofs over their heads. He has cured them of COVID. He has made them more virile. They are reproducing at an exponential rate. Praise be to Titus O'Neil. Poor guy, Tucker. Haven't seen this guy since the November 9th episode of Monday Night Raw, where he took part in some kind of seven-way match for the 24/7 title. This guy cannot get a break. He's going to be released. Sad. God, he is going to show up on AEW and be the prototypical WWE never gave me a chance. This guy, man, I feel for this guy. Okay. So young, too. Such a good hand. Man, I don't know. Lars Sullivan. Haven't seen him since the November 6th episode of SmackDown, where he conducted an interview. It was the third in a series of interviews that he gave, where he was trying to convince us that he is one scary motherfucker. People haven't forgotten that he's a racist motherfucker. And he hasn't shown up on TV for the past 10 weeks. He was that scary. Will he be at the Royal Rumble? I don't know. I don't know if this guy's going to be at the Royal Rumble. I don't know if this guy's going to have a job. Aaliyah. Haven't seen her since the October 14th episode of NXT, where she took a powder to Tony Every Day is Leg Day Storm at Tony Every Day is Leg Day Storm's debut in NXT USA. She will be off the milk carton very soon because she is taking part in the women's edition of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, and her manager, Robert Stone, will be there at ringside as well, which will eliminate the streak where every day has been a national tragedy because Robert Stone is not on my television. Aleister Black. Haven't seen him since the October 12th episode of Monday Night Raw, pre-draft, where he faced off against Kevin Owens in a street fight, I believe. Since then, post-draft, he was drafted to SmackDown, but has yet to even show up. Since that time, his wife and former WWE employee, Zelina Vega, or Taya Trinidad, decided to set up an OnlyFans account so that she could make $5 a pop by dressing up like Sexy Melina from Mortal Kombat. So she lost her job. And here's Aleister Black with nothing to do. Yeah, he's going to be shipped soon. Andrade. This one I can't figure out. We haven't seen him since that same episode of Monday Night Raw on October the 12th before the draft where he faced off against Angel Garza. After this match, this would be the same episode where Charlotte Flair was injured by Nia Jax and put on the shelf for injury. Charlotte Flair's injury was a ruptured cosmetic boob and needed cosmetic surgery for her ruptured boob. Andrade would be there for her throughout the entire ordeal. Charlotte Flair is back from injury. Her boob is healthy. Where's Andrade? I don't know. He'll probably show up at the Royal Rumble. A lot of people are going to be showing up at the Royal Rumble, getting off this list. Marina Shafir, haven't seen her since the September 23rd episode of NXT, where she took part in a battle royale of the vagina persuasion to determine the number one contender for the NXT Women's title. She will be off the milk carton if her tag team match involving I don't know who, shows up on NXT. She is taking part in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic of the Vagina Persuasion. If she shows up on NXT, she's off the milk carton. If she shows up on 205 Live, like the team of Tomato Chopper and Timothy Thatcher did, she's still going to be on the milk carton. Riddick Moss, haven't seen him since the September 21st episode of Monday Night Raw, where he thought he was a cage fighter. He was a pit fighter, and he's underground doing wacky shenanigans. Underground's been filled in by concrete. There hasn't been any underground since then. This guy was trapped in a middle-class suburb earlier last year, around March, for a good 4 months, trapped in a middle-class cul-de-sac, being pinned for the 24/7 title by R-Truth. Then he comes back and he thinks he's a pit fighter, does shit underground, and now it's been filled in. What's going on? And Babatunde was there too. Dabakato. He was down there too, but he wasn't even fighting on that episode on September the 21st. He was standing up against a wall, and then he faced off against Braun Strowman, and they aren't doing underground anymore. This guy was drafted to Raw. It's been 4 months. What's going on here? Jasmine Duke was underground 2 weeks prior to that, on September the 7th. Marina Shafir is taking part in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic of the Vagina Persuasion. But Jasmine Duke is not? Is she hurt? Again? Why isn't Jasmine Duke and Marina Shafir teaming together? What's going on? Indus Sher has not been on television since June the 24th's episode of NXT, where a monologue was being delivered on their behalf by Malcolm Bivens. Malcolm Bivens has been doing stuff with this kid Tyler Rust, but he has nothing to do with Indus Sher. Indus Sher is going to be doing stuff on Tuesday morning's Superstar Spectacle. Are they going to be on television after that? I don't know. Does this count that they're going to be off the milk carton? Yes. Mojo Rawley. Haven't seen him since the June 19th episode of SmackDown, where he faced off against Shorty G to try to convince us that Shorty G was a thing. Since then, Shorty G changed his name to Chad Gable again, and he's trying to be a thing again with this Gable Academy stuff. This is the third time we're trying to make Chad Gable a thing, but Mojo Rawley had absolutely nothing to do with it. Mansoor, haven't seen him since the February 27th Super Showdown out of Jeddah, Riyadh, or Bismarck, South Dakota. Faced off against Dolph Ziggler, which made everyone happy because everyone in South Dakota loves it when a white guy loses. Further conveying the fact that Mansoor only competes in his home country of South Dakota. Finally, the stalwart of the WWE milk carton. Is it 4 weeks? I believe it's 4 weeks. Let's do a countdown real quick here. Calendar! I demand a calendar. 1, 2, 3. Yep, 4 weeks. We are 4 weeks away from christening our 5th ever golden gallon on the WWE milk carton. It's really quite simple what he's done previously. But it's amazing that there's no way in hell that this guy is showing up. No way in hell. No way in hell. The stalwart of the WWE milk carton is Kona Reeves. We haven't seen him since the February 19th episode of NXT, where he took a powder to then NXT North American champion Keith Lee in less than 25 seconds. It's going to happen again. There's no way in hell. There's no way in hell that this one's going to be taken from me unless he's released within those 4 weeks. There's no way. 4 weeks is what we got. Grash, I know you're listening. I need another graphic from you, buddy. Oh, boy. That's a lot of people on the milk carton. How many people have we got on the milk carton today? Let's see. That's 13. And Doug's just going to talk out loud. 13. That's about 26. 26 performers that are on the milk carton? No, 28. We got 28 performers on the milk carton. After this week, we may have another 6 show up. Some names on there, they're going to show up, but they'll immediately drop off from the Royal Rumble. Rumble? Royal Rumble. Ruffles have ridges. The wire is wound around the wheel. Okay. Grash has got 2 to make for me. Oh, thank you, Grash. All right. So that's the WWE milk carton. I want to fill up because we got predictions to make. Oh, this is somewhat warm. It's cooled off. No, we'll drink it in. We'll fill this bad boy up because we got to make predictions for the Rumble of Royalty that is happening next Sunday live on the WWE Network. God, that pours out like tar. But it tastes way better than tar, and I've had tar. Royal Rumble. Only 4 matches on the card, but we're going to make 4 locks. Let's just get this over with. All right. 4 matches. There you go, Jamel. Yep, the Golden Gallons are Primo and Epico Cologne, Bo Dallas, and Vanessa Bourne. Okay. Royal Rumble. 4 matches on the card. Normally, that's on par for the Royal Rumble. It normally has like 4 or 5 matches at most. Because the Royal Rumble matches themselves on the men's and women's side normally take like an hour to an hour and a quarter. So, that's fair. 4 matches on the card. We're going to make 4 locks. But not all of them are going to be on matches. They are all going to be affiliated with the Royal Rumble matches themselves. 4 locks. 2 of those locks will be for the winners of the men's and women's Royal Rumble matches. And then also, I'm going to make 2 locks on people that I believe will appear on those Royal Rumble matches that are not on Raw or SmackDown. I will lock surprise appearances. Yeah, is it called a surprise appearance? I don't know. But I will lock 2 people that are not on Raw or SmackDown's rosters to appear at the Royal Rumble. I think they're pretty much shoo-ins. I think I'm going to be taking shots of tequila for not picking the winners. Doug, what are you talking about? Well, whenever I make a prediction on this show, and I'm confident enough, I'm really confident in my prediction, I will lock said pick. If my locked pick does not come to fruition, we do a shot of the Luna Azul Blanco tequila. It is going down. This bottle was full around the beginning of 2020. These are our first predictions to be making for 2021. Will I go tequila free? And as everyone knows, just because it's a tequila-free show doesn't mean that it's a sober show. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to go tequila-free because I want my next show that I do that's not a watch along, I want some scotch. I've been craving some scotch. Scotch is what we drink to celebrate tequila-free shows. So, all right. Royal Rumble of 2021. By the way, once again, if you are a member of the Wrestleview Media Facebook group, the Fantasy Rumble is there on the announcements. Take part in the Fantasy Rumble. If you win the Fantasy Rumble, you are making the predictions for the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view in February, and I place my liver in your hands. I hate my life. Let's start things off. This is the graphic that they have for the Women's Royal Rumble match. This is the graphic they have for the Women's Royal Rumble match. We've got Liv Morgan, Ruby Wyatt, and Tamina. Apparently, they're going to be in the Women's Royal Rumble match. I don't do a Fantasy Rumble for the women just because I don't believe there are enough women to accurately do a fantasy game. Okay. So please don't be thinking that I'm against the women here. It's just there's not enough of them. If it was just as big of a roster as the men's roster, absolutely. But this is the graphic that they've got on WWE's website for the Women's Royal Rumble. This is their preview image. The horrible thing about this, they have hardly mentioned the Women's Royal Rumble in any of the episodes of WWE television, Raw, SmackDown, or NXT. I believe Alexa Bliss is the only one who is an active participant in the Rumble who has said that she's going to be in the Rumble. Liv Morgan and Ruby Wyatt were announced to be in the Rumble by Billie Kay. Every woman on Raw and SmackDown is going to be in this thing, and NXT. The bigger question is, who's going to win it? All right. Start prognosticating. I'm going to take a sip. You guys start thinking about it. Mediocre Lewis, if he's going to win the Fantasy Rumble, my liver's going to be mediocre. Yeah, you're right. All right. So, if I'm going to pick a Final Four for the Women's Royal Rumble, well, first off, my lock for a female performer who's going to be surprise show up at the Women's Royal Rumble, a woman who is not on Raw or SmackDown, who is going to make the surprise appearance at the Royal Rumble? Rhea Ripley. No brainer. Rhea Ripley. That's who's going to be. Rhea Ripley is going to be at the Women's Royal Rumble. The Final Four for the Women's Royal Rumble: Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, maybe Karen, probably Karen, Bailey. Yeah, Karen. Karen may show up. She might be the Final Four. I don't know. That's a tough one. Karen and Alexa Bliss. I have a feeling that this is going to be one of the worst Royal Rumbles we will ever see. This is not knocking the women. I am not knocking the women by any stretch of the imagination. Because my pick for winning this Women's Royal Rumble and my lock is Alexa Bliss. She is the only female performer on WWE's roster that has mentioned the Women's Royal Rumble and is actively participating in it. This is going to be a bad one. Really bad. Really bad. Now, Serena Sandier will appear at the Royal Rumble after she made her debut at the Superstar Spectacle Tuesday morning. Other females that'll appear: who are not on Raw and SmackDown's roster that I could have picked. Casey Catanzaro will appear. She'll be there. Raquel Gonzalez. She'll be there. Yeah, she'll be there. Who else? Who else could be? Naomi. Absolutely, Naomi will return. Jamel bringing it up. Naomi will return. Anthony Manzano saying that his final for Rhea, Bianca, Alexa, Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler could be a finalist. Absolutely. Yeah, Shayna Baszler or Nia Jax could be in the final four. No problem. But I see those two eliminating each other and going over the top rope. I really don't have high hopes for Rhea Ripley. I don't. There's going to be a program will spawn from the Women's Royal Rumble to get Rhea Ripley started in Raw or SmackDown. Yeah, something will start there. Who could it be against? I don't know. Tamina? Something to introduce Rhea Ripley into Raw or SmackDown. What would be my introductory program for her? Lacey Evans? No, Lacey Evans has great stuff going on with Charlotte Flair. I love that program. I don't care what anyone says. I am digging Lacey Evans, Charlotte Flair. Okay. I don't know. But yeah, my final four is going to be Rhea Ripley, Karen, Bianca Belair, and Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss will unfortunately win the Royal Rumble when the lights go out. She puts on her black lipstick, shows no emotion whatsoever, and wins. It's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad. Can I see a shocking debut like Tessa Blanchard? No. Asks Manzano. No, I don't see. No, there's not going to be a shocking debut happening at Royal Rumble. There are no debuts. No. Especially on the women's side. You can only work with what you get. I would love, Jamel, there you go. I would love to see Nikki Cross show up and try to talk some sense into Alexa Bliss, and she gets chucked over. Yeah. It's, this is a rough one. This is going to be a rough one to watch. This is the graphic they have for the men's Royal Rumble match. Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Dolph Ziggler. Look at the frumpy face on Dolph Ziggler. Look at that frump. Look at the frump on Dolph Ziggler. Dear Lord. Can I do a frump like that? I'm pretty sure I can. I can do a better frump than that. Wait, I gotta have the glasses off. Look at the frump on that guy. Damn, I'm pretty good at that one. Look at the frump on him. Looks like he lost the Dark Souls for the 5th straight time in the past 5 minutes. All right, men's Royal Rumble match. I've got to lock the winner, and I've got to lock a surprise entrant. First off, my lock on a surprise entrant, he was on the milk cart. He's going to show up. He's going to piss everybody off. Velveteen Dream. I'm locking Velveteen Dream to show up at the men's Royal Rumble. Oh, he's going to piss so many people off. Fire Velveteen Dream. I think it's fantastic what's happening with him right now. He's off his high horse. I think it's fabulous. And I'm not saying it's great that he is being punished for stupid decisions made or being caught up in ridiculous rumors on the Twitter. I'm saying it's good because this is actually a position that needs to be filled. Gwen Walters in the chat room. Whee! See you later. Velveteen Dream is going to be a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble, and he will be immediately ganged up on. Immediately ganged up on. Almost to the level of Muhammad Hassan. Gil's bringing it up. I would love to see Bork Laser. I'd love to see Bork Laser show up. But, nah, that's not going to happen. It would be nice. I won't turn it down. I'm not going to lock that he's not going to show up. But it'd be great if Bork Laser showed up. If we had Bork Laser, Drew McIntyre again at WrestleMania. Bork Laser versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania again. This time Bork Laser being a face. But Velveteen Dream is my surprise entrant for the Royal Rumble. Edge could make an appearance too. Karrion Kross, says Manzano. No, I don't see Karrion. No, way too soon for Karrion Kross. If there's anyone else that I would think maybe a surprise entrant, Damian Priest. I could see Damian Priest being a surprise entrant as well. What program do we put Velveteen Dream in? I have him chasing for the 24/7 title. That's what I have him doing. I got him chasing for the 24/7 title. And then he wins the 24/7 title. And he prances around Monday Night Raw with the 24/7 title. That will be his program going into Monday Night Raw post-Rumble. That's what I got Velveteen Dream doing. I don't have Velveteen Dream doing a damn thing of any consequence if he's on Raw or SmackDown. He's not going to be for a mid-card title. He's not going for a main event title anytime soon. No, I got Velveteen Dream being on the low card and being a great low card. My final four for the Men's Royal Rumble. My final four. I'm really kind of doing this off the top of my head. My final four, Keith Lee, Sheamus. No, actually, no. Backtrack, rewind. Keith Lee. Keith Lee, Sheamus, Cesaro, Daniel Bryan. Those are my final four. Keith Lee, Sheamus, Cesaro, Daniel Bryan. My winner, my lock for the winner of the Men's Royal Rumble match, Daniel Bryan. Yeah, it's going to be Daniel Bryan. So, yeah, that's what I got. Nothing happened to the video. You're okay, Jamel. Gills, that's a logical final four. No, I appreciate it. And I can interchange parts. I can totally see taking Sheamus out and putting Shinsuke Nakamura, Keith Lee out and putting Shinsuke Nakamura. I can totally get that. I can totally understand Braun Strowman being in the final four. Braun Strowman's going to show up at the Royal Rumble. He's going to show up. This one, though, the final four for this one is a tough one. But I'm not going to be as pessimistic as I am about the Women's Royal Rumble as I am about this one. This is going to be as basic a Men's Royal Rumble match as you're going to find. Jamel asking, my final four? I was taking Keith Lee, Sheamus, Cesaro, Daniel Bryan. Keith Lee, Sheamus, Cesaro, Daniel Bryan are my final four. I could easily substitute Keith Lee or Sheamus out for Shinsuke Nakamura. Easily. There are going to be some other surprise entrants, though. Again, Damian Priest, I wouldn't be surprised, shows up at the Men's Royal Rumble match. Edge, wouldn't be surprised if Edge shows up, though it was fun. It was fun when he came back last year. He could do it again, but I think I don't know. What's sad, though, is that Big E has got the Intercontinental title right now. Man, I was planning for him to have that Intercontinental title a long time ago. Then we could build up to having Big E, Roman Reigns. But that looks like to be further down the line. We're talking maybe next WrestleMania. We're looking at Big E, Roman Reigns. Could happen. It could happen. Or Big E, Drew McIntyre. Big E for the WWE title on Raw when we have a draft and we reunite the New Day. Just putting it out there. I'm just putting it out there. Goldberg could win the whole thing? No, God. Well, the other thing, too, is Bork Laser could make it a surprise appearance, but he doesn't have a contract right now. At least we don't know that he does. Bork Laser is still on the WWE's main roster page. His merchandise was taken down, but he's still on the roster page. Goldberg is not on the main roster page. I don't know. This one is really up in the air. Who knows what'll happen? All right, and that's why I love the Royal Rumble. But again, my surprise entrant and lock for the men's Royal Rumble match is Velveteen Dream. My final four is Cesaro, Keith Lee, Sheamus, Daniel Bryan, and my lock to win the men's Royal Rumble match is Daniel Bryan. He's the first one that started calling dibs. It was like last year. Drew McIntyre was calling dibs. For the WWE title, COVID-laced Drew McIntyre is going to risk the health of the elderly gentleman Goldberg. Not just outside of the ring with the COVID, but inside the ring, as McIntyre defends his WWE title against said Jewish nightmare. Wow, there's a lot of one-liners in that one. Look, we know why this match is happening. It's to further confirm that Drew McIntyre is a thing. Okay, we did that against Bork Laser last year at WrestleMania. We did it for 4 months with Randall Orton. We had him lose the title and gain it right back. Not even for 4 months. God, it was a long time. And then we had him with Dolph Ziggler. He had matches on television with Keith Lee. We were anticipating Drew McIntyre Sheamus at some point. That may not be happening. If Goldberg was to win the title, who is he facing at WrestleMania for it? Is it Drew McIntyre again? If Drew McIntyre retains the WWE title, who is he facing at WrestleMania? You know, The Fiend could return and win the Royal Rumble. And that's how we get McIntyre versus The Fiend at WrestleMania. The men's Royal Rumble match could be just as bad as the women's Royal Rumble match. If in the men's Royal Rumble match, The Fiend wins and Alexa Bliss wins, and we have it all come full circle. The worst thing to happen with WWE Creative, they're going to let win in The Fiend and Alexa Bliss. But I have faith in that. That will not happen. No. The Fiend is too busy doing this Randall Orton thing. Randy Orton's going to be at the Royal Rumble. The Fiend shows up and tosses him over the top rope. He's not even confirmed to be an entrant. That's what's going to happen. And then we're going to have a cinematic match at WrestleMania involving The Fiend and Randy Orton. This comic book shit needs to come to an end. So, Drew McIntyre's opponent at WrestleMania? Sheamus? Braun Strowman. He won the title back after, well, no, Braun Strowman hasn't faced Drew McIntyre, and Braun Strowman thinks he's a cage fighter. He was underground. Miz has got Money in the Bank. Could cash in. Doug, who you picking to win this match? Oh, for fuck's sake. God damn it. I take Drew McIntyre. I can't say that it's neither. Jamel saying Miz cashes in at the Rumble, then Goldberg kills him in Elimination Chamber, or Gil saying Goldberg would never lose to the Miz, even in a cash-in. Always, if you're ever unsure about a title match, you pick retain. I got to pick retain. McIntyre. Picking McIntyre to win. McIntyre will win. Manzano asking, do I see the WWE bringing back underground segments at some point for this year, either Raw or SmackDown? No. Absolutely not. That's done. No more underground. It's done. They had their fun and they tried to get their spike in the ratings. That's not happening again. Andrew, can we riot if Goldberg wins? I give you, go ahead. Storm the Capitol if Goldberg wins. Do we get a Jomo Parker spot? Oh, sure, you betcha. Oh, I'm going to do some twirly bird shit in that match. Finally, last man standing match for the WWE Universal title, Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. This one seems to be a no-brainer. I will take Roman Reigns to retain. Seems to be a no-brainer to me. How am I going to book post this? I've got Daniel Bryan winning the Royal Rumble. I've got to have him facing Roman Reigns. I've got him facing Roman Reigns. That's not a problem. What's going on with Kevin Owens? The Usos run in. Jimmy is healthy. Taking out Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens has got to look for a tag team partner to face off against the Usos. Who does Kevin Owens find? But Sami Zayn. After doing his program with the Big E and Apollo Crews, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn reunite to take on the Usos. And Daniel Bryan manning the helm to square off against Roman Reigns. That's what I've got. Sami Zayn turning face, absolutely, Andrew. That's what I've got. I don't know if necessarily turning face now. Sami continues to be an annoying little conspiracy theorist, and it works great when paired up against the mob boss Roman Reigns and his family, and Kevin Owens being the instigator to start a fight. That's what I see. See Kevin Owens losing this match with Jimmy Uso completing the family. And Sami Zayn inevitably joining the cause. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn teaming up against the Usos. Daniel Bryan facing Roman Reigns at WrestleMania for the Universal title. What happens? I don't know. What happens at WrestleMania? I don't know. We've got to book WrestleMania after Royal Rumble in a couple of weeks. It'll be interesting to see what our whiteboard looks like of WrestleMania after the Royal Rumble. We booked really great WrestleManias throughout the year. That's been the most fun that I've had on these shows, is booking WrestleMania with you guys. And damn it, now we're getting close to WrestleMania times, so who knows? Andrew asking, is WrestleMania a test run to see if they can bring back small crowds for live shows? You saw the crowd that was there for the football games throughout the NFL season. That's what they can do for wrestling shows. That's what they can do for wrestling shows. They have to be properly barricaded to do it. Does WWE want that look of sparse crowds in a massive arena? Absolutely not. No, they don't want that. They could sparse out the crowds in the pocket pods and stuff with television screens, but I don't know. But it would be a lot better than just getting another Thunderdome. We have to have something different from the television shows that we're watching right now. But for now, the Royal Rumble. And the big thing that I'm really interested with the Royal Rumble is that are they going to construct it like they did out of Seattle last year for the Royal Rumble, where they run out of the dugout and truck it to the ring? I hope to God so. That makes a world of a difference. They've got to run that mile to get to the ring. That's the big thing. So, Royal Rumble predictions coming up for next week. On the Women's Royal Rumble side, my surprise entrant and locked is Rhea Ripley. And my winner for the Royal Rumble of the Vagina Persuasion is Alexa Bliss. On the Men's Royal Rumble, my surprise entrant and a lock is Velveteen Dream. My lock to win the Men's Royal Rumble is Daniel Bryan. For the WWE title, Drew McIntyre facing Goldberg. With the scare of The Miz cashing in, I'm picking Drew McIntyre to retain. And finally, Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens in a last man standing match. There's going to be chicanery from both Usos this time around, and Roman Reigns retains the WWE title. Oh boy, I'm going to tell you right now, even though the sources are a little tepid, they still taste great. That's going to do it for Wrestleview Weekly. You know, I always love to show off my love of former professional wrestlers. Hail Kozlov. Hail Kozlov. Thank you so much for stopping by. Like this video with how stupid and drunken it is, please do. If you enjoyed this show, please subscribe to the Wrestleview YouTube channel. We'd really appreciate it. We have post-Raw recaps live here on the Wrestleview YouTube channel, hosted by the effervescent editor-in-chief of WrestleView.com, Mike Tedesco. Hopefully he won't be too angry this time. Host and alongside his beautiful wife, Queen Victoria, and occasional appearances by Princess Liliana. Next week, here, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time on the Sunday. Royal Rumble Sunday. Join me as we watch the Rumbles of Royalty live. And no, I'm not broadcasting it. It's a watch along. 6:30 Sunday, right here. Going to have some fun watching the Rumble of Royalty. Once again, Wrestleview Media Facebook page. Sign up to it. Join if you haven't. Get on that page. Fantasy Rumble is going on. Final week to sign up. The winner of the Fantasy Rumble makes my predictions for the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view next month, where my liver is in your hands. Oh, for fuck's sake, what is wrong with me? Thank you all so much for showing up. Love doing this show, especially prediction shows and WrestleMania whiteboard shows, which we are probably going to have one post-Rumble. Thank you all so much for stopping by. Wear a mask. Don't be an asshole. Think of others before yourself. God, I am so not looking forward to Alexa Bliss and the Fiend, the Royal Rumble. I am so not looking forward to it. But again, be happy. Be happy. Things are great. Happy fun times. Royal Rumble. It's okay. It's okay. Thanks so much, guys. As always, know when you're being sold to.